Thank you, Pat, for joining us on the Black Flash Boxing channel. How you doing?
You know what? I'm very good. Since the weekend's over, we got the show over the finish line. I feel 10 times better now, yeah.
That's great. From what I can see on the day, the fans, the hall was packed. What did you make of the night in your own perspective?
The good thing about what I like about all my shows and what I mean about I like about it is the atmosphere is always there. It brings a really good atmosphere. It's calm, it's proper boxing fans, it's a good night. And it was considering what we'd been through for this show. Adam Rasool off the bill, George Colleen off the bill, Garth Ward off the bill, Mario off the bill, Niall Brown off the bill. Now, Niall Brown's off the bill because I sacrificed Niall to take him off to get him on a television show with Lyndon. So that will be announced soon. But the rest of them, George couldn't help it because, again, it was medical reasons, a query with his scan. Same with Garth Ward, it was a query with the scan. And even though it's a query, I know there's nothing wrong with him because it's something that really needs to be looked into differently. But again, that's a different story. Adam Rasool fell ill that week. So, there's 5 fighters off the show. So these 5 fighters, with Garth and George, both debutants, have sold a lot of tickets. And the show then, apparently, it was a sellout with these fighters on it. Then it dropped, and I thought to myself, oh gosh, this is looking terrible now. So it'd gone from a sellout to having to refund everybody back to am I going to do this show with only 7 fights? I've got this venue, it's a big venue. But you know what? I was overwhelmed with the turnout, that it was still a good turnout with only 7 fights on. The kid from Netherlands, Aton, was absolutely sensational. And to make his English debut over there was brilliant. And, you'll see a lot more of him because he's a good prospect. I like him. So the whole night to me went great.
You touch on Aton there. His bout against Daryl Sharp, that was a good fight, and I can remember because I was doing a live stream. Once he came on, like loads of people just jumped onto the live stream, obviously from Netherlands, and the team that he brought over as well. They were making noise. What do you make of his performance?
You know what? I just thought he was just trying to please a little bit, and I'm glad I picked such an opponent. And thank God Daryl Sharp is one of these guys. He's a really, really tough nut to crack. He is what we call a credit to journeyman. And I wish there was more of Daryl Sharps around in this boxing game because he is a true credit to the sport. He brings it, he gives it, he winds you up. He made it hard for Aton because when he was hitting him, he was telling him, "You're not hurting me, you're not hurting me." So for some reason then he was getting into his head where his game plan wasn't as much as it should have been. He was over-trying. Yeah, and when you over-try, it kind of messes up things. But overall in that, it was a great night. It was a great night of boxing, and that fight made it as well.
Darbo had his second professional fight on our channel against Michael Young. What did you make of Darbo's performance on the night?
Darbo again was absolutely class. He was brilliant. I think the more fights he has, the better he's going to become, Darbo. I think he's still within a shell a little bit, and he's still got that young boy inside him where he needs to come out more to be a man. But I think another 2 fights down the line, you'll start seeing a change in Darbo. I need to keep him busy. It's something, last time he was out with hand injury, so it's set him back a little bit. But it's something that's really good, and it's going to be something that's really special because that Mikey Young always brings it and gives everybody a tough fight. But for some reason, Darbo did well with the jab, his boxing skills, his footwork. Everything about him was brilliant. He was class.
I want to touch on the Lewis Wood and Daryl Tufuma bout. That was crazy. 2 knockdowns in the last round.
Again, that Daryl Tufuma, mate, when he comes here, Adam boxed him in his last fight, and he's welcome on all my shows because he's not your average journeyman. He's a bub that he feels you out, he talks to the corner. when I'm telling Lewis to go angles, he went and started doing angles. When I'm telling Lewis to feint set the shots up, he was taking my advice and using it on my fighter. So in the end, I had to keep my mouth shut and actually wait until Lewis come back to the corner and tell him what he had to do. But, you know, overall, Lewis's performance was absolutely good until the last round, where it kind of, I call it a moment of switching off. Because when I'm telling him to keep that movement going in and out, I said, don't stop in front of him, because you're just going to get pick shot. Yeah, and what did Lewis stop then? He just kind of had a moment where he stopped, like he was thinking what to do, and next thing you know, I think it was like an uppercut, a right uppercut, left hook, that did it. And I thought to myself, oh my God, that scared the hell out of me then, because I don't like, my fighter gets beat, I get beat. I've only got 2 fighters on the show, and it's nothing worse, but Lewis got up, he said he wasn't hurt, and next thing you know, he thought he could put it on Lewis, and Lewis threw a left hook, and he had a flash knockdown. And again, it turned the fight around, that flash knockdown, because at the time it was 38-39. Yeah, and I thought Lewis was well ahead in that fight. I mean, I think Daryl only won 1 round, which was, I think, was the 3rd round. Yeah, and I think, you know, the 4th round started, it was all Lewis up until that knockdown.
The next fight after that was Hannah Bagley, the only female fight on the night. She came out in the first round. She was literally giving it a go. What do you make of her performance?
I thought, you know what, considering she's been out the ring for a very long time, considering all the major upsets that she's had, I mean, the only time she's boxed are both on my shows. She's meant to be boxing for a very long time. She's fighting, opponents pulling out in the last minute. She even said at the media day, she says, I'll believe it when this girl steps on the scales, I think she said, or steps in the ring. It was one of them, because up to then, she was still doubting it wasn't going to happen. She was skeptical of this fight happening, and I remember saying to her in the changing rooms when we was going through, I said, I cannot believe you said that on our media day, like you doubted me. And in all fairness, it was my shows where you've had your fights. Because what I don't like to do is to let people down. And, you know, I try my best. I really do. I bring the right fights. I don't like these fights where I don't want people. These fights have got to be where these young prospects have got to use what they're doing in the gym. Use the brains, use the head, use the intelligence. If they're not switched on, they're liable to get beat. Yeah. But that's the part of boxing that you want to see. There's no point in me bringing somebody in where people are going to lie down on the floor, or you're going to get these blown up people that is only a featherweight, but then they're boxing at this weight, and to give you all that the home advantage. I don't believe in that. You want to see the best in someone. The way you're going to see the best in someone is to see what they're doing in the gym and how good they are and what they're going to do in the ring. Otherwise, it's a waste of time.
What a way to end a great night. Obviously, Khalid Majid and Tom Rafferty both had a TKO. I remember Khalid Majid, he was ruthless on the night. He just kept going and going. And Tom Rafferty, he was just, you know, great. What do you make of their performance?
Tom Rafferty, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but every time Tom Rafferty moves up in weight and he does it on the day, he gets a stoppage. He done it in his last fight. And even though they prefer to do day before weighing, yeah, for some reason. But, you know, there he was again at 12 stone 2, I think it was, or 12 stone it was on the day. And he got a brilliant stoppage. He showed strength, he showed class. It showed improvement, actually. Tom was improving without a doubt. In every fight that I'm seeing him, in his last 2 fights, he was good. I mean, I think when he boxed that kid, that Pavel, he could have been a bit better, but he's just come back from being off a flu or something like that. But this time round, he boxed absolutely sensational.
And then Khalid Majid, what do you make of his fight?
Khalid Majid, well, listen, I think he's class anyway. I think he's a class act kid. I mean, his speed is great. His boxing is good. I think he's something about him that's, you know, you're going to see it. It won't be long before you see him on, like with Eddie Hearn or like with Channel 5 or with Frank Warren. You know, I think it's about time he's got to go down that route. I think this year will just kickstart his career, these couple of fights. And I think he's one you're going to see soon.
Yeah. What's next for yourself and then your stellar fighters that you have in this gym?
The funny thing is, we're on it again. We're working for the 27th of May. I've got a stat card again, but there's one thing I'm not going to say. I'm not going to get excited about it again saying we've got a stat card, it's a sellout, because one thing I'm guaranteed to know that things can happen on the last minute. And funny enough, we're all here to get tested. And I think any test that's been put in, any questions that's been ever asked about me, I think I've answered it. And Saturday night will tell you that. Nights before would tell you that. I've done a show in Liverpool with only 3 fights. People can say what they want and think what they want about me, but I do my best to make it happen.
Nice one. Thank you very much, Pat.
Thanks.